Hey guys, Richard at Riding Room here, doing my latest review. So, of the big pile of books I'd set up recently, I'm on to the final three now. Dark Plagueis is there just to hide the light. It's probably, plus it's one of the greatest books ever, perhaps the greatest EU book, Star Wars EU book. But yeah, this is what this is on. This is the Queen's Trilogy, I guess you would call it. Queen's Peril, Queen's Shadow, and Queen's Hope. So yeah, found out about these couple of years ago, I guess, when the hardback for book 3 was on its way. I was tempted to buy them all in hardback. I mean, book 3's cover is nice, but hardback is much, much nicer. Plus it's like he's seen from Revenge of the Sith, which is always good. Yeah, read these over about a month or so. Both these quite quickly. Both really, both all three are really, really good stories, and I'm kind of doing all three in one review here. So, spoilers for, let's just say, everything up to Revenge of Sith's ending. Hell, let's say just because there's a slight epilogue. Let's say, I don't know, a week later. So before Phantom Menace 2, after Revenge of the Sith. So let's get to it. So yeah, first of all, young adult books, meaning they don't appear in like the timelines in these, which is kind of a shame. Same with the Obi-Wan books I've been listening to, Jedi Apprentice, which is a real shame because they're really good books. Obviously, these are part of the new Disney canon, so they don't appear in the list, the timeline list anyway. But yeah, they should still, like, as in the one that was written originally called the Legends Timeline. But yeah, there's like now a list of basically, I'll get the book out, but it's too far away. Basically films, so Phantom Menace, but before that, the book Master and Apprentice, and then Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Catalyst, Rogue One, etc. But yeah, they don't appear in there, which is a real shame. So let's get to it then. So yeah, basically it's Padme's life. First one starts with her before Phantom Menace when she's 14. I think it's about a year before that, and it basically it's entirely before she may be wearing her Phantom Menace handmaiden's just like costume from the Battle of Naboo, but it doesn't actually take place there at all. It's everything leading to it, and then yeah, although it kind of ends well before the events of Phantom Menace, you do get the final scene where. Hang on, my mistake. Why is that in that position? Sorry, my bad. Shadow. Was that the very first book? Let me double check that. 2019, 2023, 21. Yes. Green Shadow's first one. I don't know why I had that in the middle. I haven't got a notice actually. But, where are we? Oh no, that's a preview for the next book I'm looking at. Queen's Peril, book 2. Acknowledgement. Hey guys, where are we? This is it, yes. So the epilogue is Padme's funeral, and you got all the various characters. Yeah, Sabe is like the main one. She's one that I'm pretty sure Keira Knightley played in Phantom Menace, who's the one who appears to be the actual queen of Naboo. It basically Padme's funeral, and she's like wondering what the hell has happened. Padme just died. Palpatine is emperor. The Republic's gone. The Jedi are gone. But yeah, I'm guessing when this was written, it was a one-off because you've got this set entirely before Phantom Menace, and then completely jumps ahead, like to about, I guess, space on 14 years later. Okay, also makes sense. Again, costume-wise, this is episode 2 costume. It's like closer to this one. But yeah, this is the one that's set during Phantom Menace, so it explains why she's wearing that. And then yeah, this is maybe this is her episode 2 look. And yeah, the books are basically after it during the Clone Wars, so that makes more sense. But I guess they were doing for a recognisable costume, and obviously everyone knows that's a great costume. But yeah, that's the one that we've got. So yeah, on to this then. So basically, before Phantom Menace, like how she became queen in the first place, that's like that. Even this book actually references a lot of that stuff. So does Cloak of Deception. This kind of goes into a lot more. Then you got Queen's Peril basically during Phantom Menace, like when she was gone, what her handmaids were doing, like when Naboo was like enslaved by the Trade Federation, when apparently the death toll was catastrophic. And then you've got this, which is basically during the Clone Wars. But Padme's not the focus. They could have called this, I don't know, Amidala. Like Amidala's Shadow, Amidala's Peril, Amidala's Hope, because Amidala's not her birth name. Ever since here, and before it was always Nabari, Amidala's just a name that she took when she became queen. I guess it's just what they do. Maybe it's like they have to change their names, I don't know. And yeah, you got to focus on all the other characters. So there weren't that many you really knew about in them. There was Sabe, the one who was actually the decoy who like they thought was the queen. And they basically used her to trick the Trade Federation at the end. And then you've got what was her name? Basically, the one from the beginning of Attack of Clones that's killed, right? When they do the decoy thing again, the ship gets blown up. I can't remember. But yeah, basically, you see what all these other. Then there's other handmaidens as well. Like they even mention it in this one. Padme's got several handmaidens look very much like her. While she's 14, you can tell that's quite easy. But then, yeah, you see in the start of Attack of the Clones, the decoy doesn't actually look that much like Padme because 10 years later, there's no way a bunch of 14-year-old girls that's 24-year-olds will look exactly the same as each other. So yeah, you've got a lot of focus on them. Like you've got one, you've got romance. One of them is with a woman from one of the other planets who bumps into Padme when she's in a disguise once, and there's a bit of an embarrassing mix-up, which I thought was a bit mean-spirited. Thing I've seen in Sword of Stone when he's turned into a fish, and like he basically breaks a fish's heart, and it's not seen as a big deal from like the guy or Merlin, and it just feels really mean. And it's a similar thing there, but they seem to resolve things at the end, I'm sure. One has a relationship with one of the bodyguards. Obviously, Padme has a relationship with Anakin. There's a pretty amusing bit when Padme, does the whole decoy thing so she can just go off out and on the town. Anakin sneaks into like her room and like, yeah, it's pretty hilarious. We get a moment, of course, where he's like, "Wait, who the hell are you? You're not Padme." And yeah, that little secret is like revealed. And of course, same with her marriage, her closest one. Sabe's got annoyed that she just didn't tell her that. It's something that needs to stay secret, but yeah, you think, why don't you tell me? And Padme's definitely slipping away when she becomes the senator. She's got more to do. And of course, the one thing I really liked about this book, and I always wondered actually, I think it's Sabe. She gets sent to Tatooine to basically go about freeing the slaves. Like Phantom Menace notices slaves have got these chips built in that will blow them up, so there's basically no escaping. And her handmaiden and the guy she becomes, falls in love with, they like integrate themselves with the dodgier parts of Tatooine, like the gangs, criminals, and work out how to do. And it's like, able to save slaves. There's several planets that need basically workforce. It's not as like dodgy as that sounds. It is legit, like paid work, etc. But of course, it's not enough. And yeah, where is Shmi Skywalker? It turns out Padme is like Virgil's word to find her. And yeah, by that point, she's not there. But she doesn't know why, and it's where she's gone. And it's clear it's Cliegg Lars she's with at that point, because yeah, Watto was willing to give Anakin that info like reluctantly, like he couldn't be bothered to like sort of subtly threaten him. But you can tell he wouldn't just tell anybody that. So yeah, it's nice when Padme says, "What about the woman?" I asked, "Did you find her?" She's like, "No, I don't know where she is." And yeah, no, it's good that we know what's happened, and yeah, Padme will later find it out in the film herself. So it's good that that wasn't forgotten, because I remembered reading Tatooine Ghosts. It came out in 2003, but it was set, well, flashback to that stuff. A lot of focus on Shmi there, like Leia dealing with that part of her history. And there's mentions to her meeting Cliegg and being freed from Watto, or rather Jabba the Hutt. I imagine he took over by that point. And it's nice that reading Tatooine Ghosts. Obviously, I read it well after, but that was written. Yeah, if it came in 03, you'd have had the Cliegg stuff because Shmi's leaving like messages about that. But, yeah, so you'd obviously think, okay, that's cool. We know she ended up in safety, and we sort of get the origin of that. But this book was written, 2021, the second one? Or was it the first one? No, it's the second. It's the first. But either way, you read these years later, and you're like, okay, you know what happened. But yeah, imagine if these were written in 2003 alongside Tatooine Ghosts, and I read them in 2003, you'd be like wondering what's going on. Why is she not found her? Like, oh, yeah, it's revealed in the film that you'd think from this, where's Shmi? What's happened to her? Oh yeah, that's right, she was rescued. But yeah, then again, 2003, we didn't know a huge amount. I'm sure Tatooine Ghosts was being written before, like probably before Attack of the Clones even released, or slightly after. Yeah, ignore my ramblings. But yeah, either way, Padme wouldn't know about anything there, and it's nice that we find it out. But then again, what if this was like written even before Attack of the Clones, when there's no plan for any of that stuff? I mean, when it hadn't been written, who knows? But yeah, anyway, onto it. So that's a nice little story beat that was good to see, because it made you think, wouldn't Padme want, the most important saved? And yeah, she is, but she just couldn't do it. But it's a good story, and problem is Taffy keeps getting pulled back to Coruscant, so she's not able to make enough of a difference. But overall, it's a good set of stories. You've got like Padme's life, you've got a good focus on the other characters as well, and yeah, I just feel that it's a shame that it's officially counted as young adult, much like the Ahsoka book, so you won't appear in a list of the timeline. Well, the ones printed inside books, but I'll see a Wookiee beard and it'll be on there. Yeah, likewise the Ahsoka book. It's it's also helped me go for this book. E.K. Johnston, who wrote the Ahsoka ones, she's really good. Yeah, I do like it. I hope she'll do more Star Wars books. Hell, maybe they'll give her some of the not young adult books, just so they can be recognised a bit more. It's a real shame that they aren't. But yeah, that is it then. So, like my MedStar book reviews, not a huge amount to say, but it says it's a trilogy. There's a lot in there, and yeah, I would just like to see a bit more. To be honest, they could easily write some more around her. But then maybe the author should move on. I mean, who's she going to do next? She did Ahsoka in what, 2014? No, it's well after the Disney stuff. So 15, 16, I don't know. And then these a few years later, maybe she's got something else planned. Who knows? Yeah, maybe, I don't know, they could write a new book merging Tatooine Ghosts with some new stuff to fit in with Kliegler, so Owen, Beru, all of that. So who knows what we can have next. Not sure though, she could realistically write a book on maybe the villain Asajj Ventress, because she did have the book Dark Disciple, but that was abandoned Clone Wars when Disney took over. They shut down the Clone Wars, which meant what happened to Darth Maul after Series 5, what happens to Asajj Ventress, where Quinlan Voss went to. So yeah, there's maybe she could write a story on her set after or before Dark Disciple. Maybe even a Asajj Ventress origin. Maybe even the bounty hunter who appeared in Clone Wars, one who appears blink a you miss it moment in Phantom Menace, who then actually returned in Legacy of Force books. What's her name? Can't remember. Ginger hair tied back at the top. She's like an assassin, but she's not a Jedi or Force user or anything. Aura Singh, that's her. Maybe a book on her. Obviously, I'm sure the author can write male characters as well, but she's done a good job with Ahsoka and Padme. Maybe other ones. Plenty more to see. Now, give us a book on young Leia, perhaps. Leia's age. A lot of stuff's bound to happen to her before she becomes part of the rebellion, maybe even leading into that, a prequel to Rogue One starring Leia, although she does on Alderaan and when the Senate still existed / maybe mattered. But yeah, who knows? I might have to look that up actually. But hopefully we'll see more of this sort of, and I hope these books are sold well enough that we keep getting them, because yeah, they're definitely good stories. And again, we're definitely recommended, but don't let them that they are young adult books put you off. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, I read Down Shan's vampire series when I was a young adult. I think I was 16 when they came out. Reread them several years after. I think the last read I did would have been 2019, and still awesome. Same for his other series is. So yeah, don't let it put you off. Highly recommend these 3, and yeah, that is it. So I hope you enjoyed the vid, and I'll see you next time. I'm actually completely up to date now. So although I've got the Heir to the Empire book, which I'm currently reading, yeah, well, after I did the 2 Darth Maul books, Shadowhunter and Maul Lockdown, I kind of got to the end. I mean, I've got future books. After Heir to the Empire 1 is done, it's Dawn of the Jedi, and then Heir to the Empire 2, Death Troopers. Then there's the recent books I've bought that I've not actually read yet, like Tales from Jabba's Palace. There's the books I've just re-bought because I wanted to maybe read it again. Shadows of the Empire, and I've just bought a New Dawn, basically the Star Wars Rebels sequel. Prequel. But yeah, I'm actually completely up to date now. So these reviews are a bit better structured, and also that I don't forget little things. I really will actually try and put the review up as soon as it's done. So yeah, as soon as Heir to the Empire is done, I'll be putting up, because yeah, I only started my reviews with the New Jedi Order. That's like a year of Star Wars books. I didn't actually do reviews of X-Wing, Heir to the Empire, the Han Solo, the Centerpoint trilogy, although that book's gone, so I won't be rereading that. But plenty more, so hope you're enjoying this, and I will see you next time.